My neighbor paved over part of my property while I was on vacation because he needed more space for his boat. I didn't sue him. I rented a concrete saw and cut his new driveway in half. I live in a suburban neighborhood with decent-sized lots. My neighbor, Dave, is the kind of guy who buys toys he can't afford and expects everyone else to accommodate him. He bought a massive pontoon boat 3 months ago, even though we live 3 hours from a lake. He complained constantly that his driveway wasn't wide enough to park the boat alongside his truck. I told him he should pay for storage. He ignored me. Last week, my wife and I went to Hawaii for our anniversary. We were gone for 7 days. When we pulled into our driveway yesterday, I noticed something different. The strip of grass between our houses, which is legally my property, was gone. Dave had hired a shady contractor to pour a concrete slab, extending his driveway 4 feet onto my land. His boat was parked on it, gleaming in the sun. I walked over and knocked on his door. Dave answered, holding a beer. "Dave," I said, "why is there concrete on my lawn?" "Oh, hey," he grinned. "I figured since you weren't using that grass, I'd put it to better use. It looks cleaner, right? Plus, now the boat fits. I'll give you a case of beer for the trouble." "It's my property, Dave. You didn't ask. You need to remove it." He laughed. "It's concrete, buddy. It's cured. It's not going anywhere. Don't be a Karen. It adds value." He slammed the door in my face. He thought that because the concrete was poured, I would just accept it to avoid a legal battle. He forgot that I work in construction. I went to my garage. I grabbed my property survey from when we bought the house. I located the iron pins in the ground that mark the property line. I ran a bright orange string line exactly along the border. Then I went to the rental center down the street. I rented a Stihl industrial concrete saw with a diamond blade. At 7 a.m. this morning while Dave was sleeping, I fired up the saw. It is loud, very loud. I cut a straight line right down the property boundary. It took me about an hour. Once the cut was made, I used a sledgehammer and a pry bar to break up every inch of concrete on my side of the line. I tossed the chunks of broken concrete onto his side of the driveway, piling them up against the side of his precious boat. Dave ran out in his underwear screaming, "What are you doing? You're ruining my driveway." "I'm removing an obstruction from my land," I shouted over the saw. "You said it adds value. I prefer the rustic look." He called the cops. The police arrived, looked at the survey markers, looked at the cut line, and told Dave, "He is within his rights. You trespassed and built on his land. Be glad he isn't charging you for the removal labor." Dave now has a jagged, half-width driveway that is too narrow for the boat, and a pile of rubble he has to pay to haul away. He has threatened to sue me for destruction of property, but my lawyer says he has zero case. So, dear viewers, was I wrong for taking matters into my own hands?